The monastery stood high on the mountain like a lonely stone giant. Its walls were built from grey rocks that had stood against storms for hundreds of years. Snow often touched its roof in winter, and clouds sometimes wrapped around its towers as if trying to keep secrets. To many villagers who lived in the valley below, the monastery was only a place of prayer. They believed the monks who once lived there had left long ago, leaving behind silence and echoes in the empty halls. But some villagers spoke of other things. When the sun went down, strange whispers were said to float through the night air around the mountain. At times, people saw a glow under the cracks of the monastery floor. No one dared climb to the ruins after dark. Stories of ghosts and curses kept them away. Children were told not to play near the mountain, and travelers who asked about the monastery were given short answers and quick warnings. Aaron, a young explorer, did not fear such stories. He had always been curious about old places and hidden history. While others saw only broken walls and dust, Aaron believed every ruin had a story waiting to be told. He gathered a small team of friends who shared his passion. Myra, a quiet girl with sharp eyes, was good at reading old signs and carvings. Tomasz, strong and steady, carried their supplies and always kept the group safe. Leanne, with quick hands and clever mind, loved solving puzzles. Together they climbed the steep path to the monastery with lanterns and packs, ready to search what others had left behind. As they reached the gates, the air grew still. The great wooden doors were cracked and bent, but they still stood tall. Aaron pushed them open with effort, and the sound of old wood echoed like a long sigh. Inside, the monastery was dark and cold. Dust covered the stone floor, and fallen beams lay across the hall. Birds had made nests in the corners, and weeds grew through cracks. Yet even with all this decay, the place held a strange feeling. It was not just emptiness, it was as if the walls remembered something and were waiting for it to return. Myra brushed her fingers over the carvings on one wall. "These are not like the writings I studied," she said softly. "They look older, much older. Maybe even older than the monastery itself." Aaron leaned closer and felt a chill run through him. The symbols were not of any known language. They looked like shapes of stars and paths, lines crossing in strange patterns. He made a quick sketch in his notebook, determined not to forget. Tomasz walked around, kicking small stones out of the way. "Strange or not, this place is quiet," he said. "No ghosts, no curses, just rocks and dust." But even he could not shake the feeling that someone, or something, was watching them from the shadows. Leanne found a narrow stair that led up to a broken tower. From there he called down, "The view is wide. You can see the whole valley from here. No wonder the monks chose this place. They could watch everything." The group decided to rest in the main hall for a while. Aaron lit a lantern and placed it on the floor. The warm glow reached across the walls, and the carvings seemed to shimmer faintly as if reacting to the light. Myra tilted her head. "Do you see that?" she whispered. The others turned. The carvings looked almost alive, as if the stone itself shifted when light touched it. Aaron moved closer and placed his hand on one of the strange marks. For a moment, nothing happened. But then he felt a faint vibration, like the stone was humming under his palm. He quickly pulled back, his heart racing. The team stared in silence. Tomasz broke it with a nervous laugh. "Maybe it's just old stone settling," he said, though his voice was not steady. Aaron shook his head. "No, this is different. These walls hide something." The villagers were right. The monastery is not just a ruin. It is a cover. Outside, the sky turned red with the setting sun. Shadows grew long across the floor. The monastery, which had seemed empty, now felt alive with secrets. Aaron looked at his friends. Their faces showed fear, but also excitement. They had not climbed this mountain for nothing. Something waited beneath the silence, and he intended to uncover it. That night, while the others prepared to sleep, Aaron sat awake near the lantern. He studied his sketches and thought about the whispers the villagers had spoken of. If the monastery was built to guard something, then that something must still be here. His eyes wandered across the dark hall, and once again he thought he saw a faint glow between the cracks in the stone floor. His pulse quickened. Tomorrow, he promised himself, they would search deeper. The old monastery was only the beginning. The morning sun reached through the broken windows of the monastery, casting golden lines on the dusty floor. Aaron woke first, his back stiff from sleeping on stone. He stretched and walked to the carvings again, drawn by them like a moth to a flame. Myra soon joined him, rubbing her eyes but already alert. She carried a small brush from her pack and began gently cleaning dust from the wall. "Look here," she whispered after some time. "The symbols are not just marks. They are part of a larger pattern." She stepped back, pointing at the carvings that stretched across the length of the hall. Aaron followed her gaze. What had seemed like scattered symbols now formed a grand design, a circle filled with lines and shapes that reminded him of stars in the night sky. Leanne, curious, came closer with a notebook in hand. He began sketching the full design as Myra brushed away more layers of dust. Tomasz, less patient, leaned against a broken pillar. "It looks nice," he said. "But maybe it's only decoration. Old monks loved strange art." Aaron shook his head. "No, this is not art. It feels like a map." He traced one of the lines with his finger, noticing how it seemed to lead toward the center of the hall. There, under the lantern light, the stone tiles appeared slightly different. Their edges were smoother, as though they were meant to move. The group gathered around the center. Myra crouched and studied the floor. "These stones are not natural. They were placed carefully. Maybe it is a hidden chamber." Her voice carried both fear and wonder. Aaron touched one of the floor tiles, pressing it lightly. For a moment nothing happened. But when his palm rested fully on the stone, a faint sound rose from deep below, like the murmur of a distant river. The others froze, eyes wide. The stone felt alive, humming softly as if it recognized the touch. Aaron pulled his hand away quickly, and the sound faded into silence. Leanne leaned closer, his curiosity burning. "This is not just stone. It's like some kind of mechanism." He tapped the tile gently. "But how would monks build something like this?" "They didn't," Aaron said firmly. "This is older than the monastery. Much older. The monks only built their walls above it." His mind raced with possibilities. Perhaps it was a forgotten tomb, or a treasure chamber, or something far stranger. Whatever it was, it had been hidden for a reason. Myra stood, brushing dust from her hands. "We should be careful. Secrets kept for centuries are not meant to be touched lightly." She looked at Aaron with concern. But Aaron's heart beat with excitement. He had come here searching for hidden history, and now he felt he was close to something extraordinary. The team decided to explore more of the monastery before trying the tiles again. They walked through narrow halls where sunlight struggled to enter. Some rooms were filled with broken wooden benches, others with piles of stones that had fallen from the ceiling. In one chamber, Myra found another wall covered in symbols, this time with strange circles inside circles. She compared them with her notes and noticed they matched parts of the design in the main hall. "It is all connected," she said. "Every room points back to the same center." As they returned to the hall, the air seemed heavier. The sunlight had shifted, leaving the carvings glowing faintly in the dim light. Aaron knelt once more beside the central tile. He placed both hands firmly on the stone. The vibration returned, stronger this time. The walls echoed with a low hum, and dust shook loose from the ceiling. Tomasz stepped back nervously. "You're waking something, Aaron. Maybe this is not wise." But Aaron could not stop. His hands pressed deeper, and suddenly one of the symbols on the wall flared with light. It was faint but clear, a soft blue glow spreading through the carved lines like fire through dry grass. The symbols lit up in sequence, forming a circle of light that wrapped around the hall. The floor beneath them trembled. The team gasped. None of them had seen anything like this. It was not natural, nor was it the work of monks with simple tools. This was something greater, something far beyond the reach of ordinary builders. The glow faded as quickly as it came, leaving the hall silent once more. Aaron's hands shook as he pulled them back. He looked at his friends, seeing fear in their eyes but also the same hunger for answers. "What did we just do?" Myra whispered. "We found proof," Aaron replied, his voice steady though his heart raced. "Proof that the monastery was hiding something. And now it knows we are here." The group sat together in silence, listening to the faint echo that still lingered in the stones. The monastery no longer felt like a dead ruin. It felt awake. The carvings were not only symbols. They were keys. And Aaron was certain that if they pressed them in the right way, the monastery would open its secrets. Outside, the mountain wind howled, carrying with it the whispers the villagers had spoken of. But this time, the whispers did not seem like ghost tales. They seemed real, as if voices from below the earth were calling out. Aaron clenched his fist. Tomorrow, they would return to the tiles, and he would not hesitate. The hidden passage was close, and he was ready to uncover it. Night fell quickly on the mountain, and the monastery grew dark and cold. The group stayed close together in the main hall, their lantern casting long shadows on the walls. Aaron could not sleep. His eyes kept returning to the strange tiles in the floor. Every time he closed his eyes, he imagined the glowing symbols and felt the vibration in his hands again. He knew something was waiting under the monastery, something that wanted to be found. At last, he stood and lit another lantern. Myra stirred and opened her eyes. "You're not resting," she whispered. "I can't," Aaron admitted. "The floor is calling us. I feel like if we wait too long, the chance will vanish." Tomasz grumbled from the corner. "You sound like the villagers, speaking of curses and voices. At least wait until morning." But Aaron was stubborn. He placed the lantern near the center of the hall and studied the tiles again. Myra, curious as ever, joined him. With careful hands, Aaron pressed the same spot he had touched before. The faint hum returned, and this time Myra pressed another symbol on the wall. To their surprise, the floor gave a low groan, and the central stone shifted slightly. Dust fell from the cracks as the tile lowered, revealing a thin gap around it. Leanne, now fully awake, rushed over. "It's a mechanism," he said with excitement. "We need to press the symbols in a certain order." He quickly compared Myra's notes with the wall carvings. "These lines connect like a puzzle. If we press them in sequence, it might unlock." The group worked together, pressing symbols along the wall. Each time, the hum grew stronger, until the circle of carvings glowed faintly once more. Finally, Aaron pressed the center tile with both hands, and the stone sank deep into the floor. A loud grinding sound echoed through the hall. The ground shook as dust rained down from above. Slowly, the tile slid aside, revealing a dark stairway leading into the depths of the mountain. For a long moment, no one moved. The opening breathed a cold draft, carrying with it the smell of earth and something older, something metallic. The lantern light did not reach far into the stair, only showing stone steps vanishing into blackness. Myra whispered, "This is it. The hidden passage." Aaron's heart pounded. He lifted his lantern and stepped onto the first stair. "We came for answers. If we turn back now, we'll never know the truth." Tomasz sighed but followed, carrying a second lantern. Leanne and Myra came behind, their footsteps slow and careful. The stairway was narrow, the walls close on both sides. Strange marks were carved into the stone here too, though they were sharper and cleaner, as if untouched by time. The deeper they went, the colder the air became. The hum that had filled the hall above now surrounded them, faint but constant, like the heartbeat of something asleep. The lantern flames shook as if reacting to the unseen energy. After what felt like forever, the stairway ended in a long corridor. Its walls were smooth, not rough like the monastery stone. They gleamed faintly in the lantern light, as though made of a different material, not quite rock and not quite metal. Aaron touched it and felt the same vibration as before, stronger here. "This is not built by monks," he said softly. "This is something else." The corridor led them forward until they reached a wide chamber. The ceiling was high, and pillars rose from floor to roof, each covered in strange lines that glowed faintly. In the center of the chamber stood a sealed door, massive and covered in carvings like the ones above. Unlike the dusty hall of the monastery, this place felt alive, waiting for them. Myra studied the carvings with awe. "It looks like the same language, but more complete. These symbols might tell us what this place is." She traced the lines with her fingers, careful not to press too hard. Leanne crouched near the base of the door, examining small grooves. "It's locked, but not in any way I know. It needs something to open it. Maybe the same sequence as above." Aaron's lantern flickered as if reacting to the chamber itself. He stepped forward, staring at the great door. He felt a pull, deep and steady, as though the door was not just blocking the way but calling to him. His hands trembled with the urge to touch it. Tomasz placed a hand on his shoulder. "We should think before rushing. We don't know what lies beyond." Aaron nodded slowly, though his eyes stayed fixed on the carvings. He understood Tomasz's warning, but his heart told him this was the path they were meant to follow. The monastery had guarded the secret for centuries, and now it had chosen them to see what lay beneath. The group set down their packs and rested at the edge of the chamber. None of them spoke much, their minds heavy with questions. The passage they had uncovered was no ordinary tomb or hidden treasure. It was a place of design and power, untouched by time, waiting for human hands. As the lanterns glowed softly, the chamber seemed to breathe with them, alive and patient. Aaron lay awake once more, staring at the great door. Tomorrow, he knew, they would try to open it. And whatever was beyond, it would change everything they thought they knew about the world. The chamber was silent except for the faint hum in the walls. Aaron and his team sat near their lanterns, their eyes fixed on the great sealed door. It stood tall and unbroken, as if untouched by the weight of centuries. The carvings across its surface glowed faintly, like stars hidden under layers of stone. When morning light seeped faintly down the stairway, Aaron rose with determination. "We came this far," he said firmly. "Now we open the door." Myra approached with her notebook. She had spent most of the night comparing the symbols on the walls with those she had drawn from the monastery above. "These lines here," she explained, pointing to the carvings on the door, "match the pattern we activated before. If we press them in the right order, the mechanism might respond." Lien, his hands restless with excitement, stepped forward. "Then let's solve the puzzle. This is not just a door. It is a gateway." Tomasz, always cautious, stood back with folded arms. "Remember, not everything hidden should be opened." Yet even he leaned closer, his eyes drawn to the strange light that danced across the carvings. Aaron pressed his palm against one of the larger symbols. A soft vibration answered. Myra pressed another, and Lien a third. Slowly, the carvings began to glow brighter, spreading like ripples on water. The hum grew louder, deep and steady, as though the chamber itself was waking. Then the great door shuddered. Dust fell from above as its surface split down the middle. With a grinding sound that echoed through the corridor, the two halves slid apart, revealing a darkness beyond. The group lifted their lanterns and stepped through. What they saw froze them in awe. The room beyond was vast, far larger than the monastery above. Its walls curved smoothly, lined with tall pillars that pulsed with faint light. Crystals hung from the ceiling, glowing like stars, casting silver reflections across the floor. But most strange of all were the machines. Rows of tall structures stood silent, their surfaces made of the same strange metal as the corridor. Some looked like pillars of glass filled with frozen mist. Others were shaped like great arches, their surfaces etched with flowing patterns. Pipes ran along the walls, glowing faintly as if carrying light instead of water. Lien whispered, "This is no crypt for the dead. This is a crypt for machines." Aaron walked forward slowly, his lantern shaking in his hand. Every step echoed on the polished floor. He touched one of the pillars and felt the same hum as before, only stronger. It was not cold like stone, but warm, alive. Myra's eyes darted around the chamber. "These machines are ancient, but they are not broken. They are sleeping, waiting." Her voice trembled with wonder. The group spread out, studying the strange devices. Tomasz kept close, his hand on his pack strap, ready for danger. Myra found panels covered in symbols more complex than any they had seen. Lien knelt beside one of the glass pillars, trying to understand the patterns inside. Aaron wandered toward the far end of the chamber, where a platform rose slightly above the floor. There, he found a crystal sphere resting in a metal cradle. It glowed softly, brighter than anything else in the room. He reached out, and the sphere pulsed in answer. The chamber reacted. Lights flickered across the walls, and the hum rose into a steady rhythm. The machines stirred, their surfaces glowing with streams of light. The crystals overhead brightened, filling the chamber with a silver glow. The group froze as the crypt awakened. The pillars pulsed, the arches shimmered, and faint sounds filled the air, like voices speaking in a forgotten language. Aaron pulled back his hand, but the sphere continued to glow, feeding energy into the machines. He looked at his friends with wide eyes. "It's alive," he whispered. "This whole place is alive." Myra stepped closer to the sphere, her voice hushed with awe. "This is not human work. No people we know could build this. Whoever made it was far beyond us." Lien's face lit with excitement. "If we can learn how it works, imagine what knowledge we could bring to the world. This is more than history. This is the future hidden in the past. But Tomasz shook his head. Or it is danger buried for a reason. Maybe the monks knew it should never be touched. The chamber continued to hum, not angry but steady, like the breath of a great machine waking from a long sleep. None of the structures moved, yet the air was charged with power, and the floor beneath them vibrated softly. Aaron stood tall, torn between wonder and fear. He felt that the crypt had been waiting for this moment, waiting for human hands to awaken it again. He did not know if it was a gift or a test, but he was certain of one thing. Their discovery was greater than anything he had imagined when he first climbed the mountain. The team gathered near him, their faces glowing in the silver light. Each of them felt the same truth in their hearts. They had uncovered not only a hidden passage but a hidden world. A world built not for monks or villagers, but for those who came after, those who would dare to seek it. The crypt of machines had opened its eyes. And now, the fate of what lay inside rested in their hands. The crypt glowed like a silver dawn beneath the mountain. Aaron and his friends stood together, staring at the machines that pulsed with new life. The hum in the air had grown steady, no longer faint but strong, as though the chamber itself had a beating heart. The crystal sphere in its cradle shone with a light that shifted like flowing water. No one spoke for a moment. They were too caught in the strange beauty of the place. Myra was the first to find her voice. "This is not only a machine," she whispered. "It feels like a living thing." Aaron nodded slowly. "It has been waiting for us." Tomasz frowned, his hand tight on his pack strap. "Waiting, or warning? We don't know what we've touched. This could bring danger." Before anyone could answer, the floor beneath them shivered. One of the tall pillars across the chamber lit up brighter than the rest. Streams of light ran across its surface, gathering at its center until a shape began to form. It was not made of stone or flesh but of pure light. Slowly, a tall figure stepped forward, glowing faintly blue and white, its body shifting like a reflection in water. The team froze. Aaron's breath caught in his throat. Myra covered her mouth with both hands. Leanne's eyes widened with wonder. Even Tomasz, usually steady, stepped back in alarm. The figure raised its head. 2 points of light formed where its eyes should be. Its voice came not from a mouth but from the chamber itself, a deep sound that seemed to echo from every wall. "Who enters the vault of guardianship?" the figure asked. The words were broken, like pieces of an old song, but they carried meaning. The group exchanged stunned glances. Aaron felt his heart race, but he forced himself to step forward. His voice trembled at first, but he made it steady. "We are explorers. We are human. We seek truth." The figure's light flickered as if studying him. "Human," it repeated. The sound rolled through the chamber. "Time has passed. Many cycles have gone. Yet humans come again." Myra clutched her notebook tightly, whispering, "It knows what we are. It knows our kind." The figure moved closer, its feet leaving no sound on the floor. It stood taller than any of them, its glowing form shifting but never fading. "This place was not for the monks," it said slowly. "This place was for you. For all of humanity." Aaron's mind raced. "You mean, this was built for humans?" The figure's head tilted slightly. "It was built by those who came before. They chose your kind. They gave guardianship to humans. The monks kept watch, but the true heirs are you." The team was silent, the weight of the words pressing on them. Leanne's face lit with excitement. "If this is true, then we are standing in a treasure of knowledge. Something left for our people." But Tomasz shook his head. Or a burden. If it has waited so long, maybe it is dangerous to carry. The figure's light pulsed brighter. This place holds wisdom and power. It is not gift alone. It is a test. To awaken is to accept responsibility. To fail is to bring ruin. The chamber echoed with the words. Myra looked at Aaron, her eyes full of both fear and hope. It is asking us to choose. Aaron's chest tightened. He stepped closer to the glowing figure, his lantern trembling in his hand. Why us? He asked softly. The figure lowered its head, and for the first time its voice carried a softer tone. Because you are human. Because your kind has always sought the stars. Because within your hearts is both fire and light. The ones who built this place believed humanity would rise. And now, you stand here. The sphere in the cradle pulsed as if agreeing. Light spread across the floor, forming patterns that stretched like rivers beneath their feet. The machines responded with brighter glows, as though waiting for a decision. Aaron turned to his friends. Myra's face was pale, but her eyes shone with curiosity. Lian's hands shook with excitement, his mind already racing ahead to what could be learned. Tomasz looked torn, his heart heavy with doubt, but he did not turn away. Aaron faced the figure once more. If we accept, what happens? The Guardian's light flickered. Then the vault opens. The knowledge is given. Humanity will carry it. But once awakened, it cannot be sealed again. You will be keepers, and the world will change. Silence filled the chamber. Each of them felt the weight of the choice. It was not only about their lives but about all of humanity. To awaken the vault meant to take on a duty older than any history they knew. Aaron placed his hand on the glowing sphere. It pulsed warmly beneath his touch, filling his arm with a strange strength. He looked back at his friends one last time. We did not climb this mountain to walk away. We came to find the truth. And now it has found us. The Guardian's form blazed brighter, light filling the chamber like a sunrise. Then humanity accepts, it said. The vault awakens. The ground trembled, and the machine sang with a deep hum that shook the air. The crypt was no longer asleep. It was alive, fully awake, and humanity had claimed its role. The chamber was filled with light, brighter than the team had ever seen. The machines hummed with energy, and the Guardian's form glowed like a living star. Aaron and his friends stood together, their eyes wide with wonder. Every corner of the crypt seemed alive, vibrating with power and knowledge. The sphere pulsed gently in Aaron's hands, sending warmth through him. The Guardian spoke again, its voice calm but strong. Humanity has been given a chance to rise. The choice is before you. Take the knowledge and guide your kind, or leave it hidden forever. Myra stepped forward, her voice soft but determined. What happens if we take it? What must we do? The Guardian's light shifted like water. You will become keepers of wisdom. The knowledge within this vault is meant to help humanity grow. It can guide your people to the stars, to new discoveries, and to understanding beyond what you know now. But it is not without responsibility. Humans must act with care, courage, and compassion. Mistakes could bring ruin, not only to yourselves but to the world above. Lian's eyes sparkled with excitement. This is incredible. Think of what we could learn, what humanity could achieve. We could be the first to understand the secrets of this place. Tomasz still hesitated, his brow furrowed. It is power. Great power. And with it comes great risk. How do we know we are ready? How do we know humans can handle this? Aaron looked at his friends, feeling the weight of the moment. He thought about the villagers, about the monks who had guarded the monastery, and about the mountains and skies he had always loved exploring. The choice was not just about them. It was about everyone who had ever looked up at the stars and wondered what lay beyond. The guardian raised its arms, light spreading through the chamber. You are human. You have curiosity, creativity, and the will to act. This is why you were chosen. But the choice must be yours, freely. Decide if humanity is ready to carry the burden of knowledge. Myra glanced at Lien and Tomasz. We cannot ignore this. If we walk away, centuries of wisdom will remain hidden. Humanity may never reach the potential it can achieve. Lien nodded quickly. I agree. We must accept it. We are the ones here, in this moment. Maybe this is why we were meant to come. Tomasz looked at the glowing machines, his heart heavy. He thought about the responsibility, the risks, and the unknown future. Then he saw the determination in his friend's eyes and heard the quiet courage in Aaron's voice. Slowly, he nodded. If we are careful, if we learn and protect it, then yes. Humanity should take this chance. Aaron stepped forward, holding the glowing sphere. The light spread across his face, and he felt energy filling him, a knowledge older than time. We accept, he said firmly. We choose to carry the knowledge and help humanity grow. The Guardian's glow intensified, filling the entire chamber. The machines vibrated and shone, lines of light running along the walls like rivers of energy. The hum became a song, deep and steady, echoing through the stones and metal. Aaron felt his mind open as visions of ancient knowledge entered him, ideas and understanding that humans had never known. Myra gasped as the light touched her mind. She saw stars, strange worlds, and devices beyond imagination. Lien's hands shook as he felt the flow of information, formulas, and patterns filling his thoughts. Tomasz closed his eyes, feeling the truth of the universe in a way he had never imagined. The Guardian spoke once more, its voice filled with pride. The choice has been made. Humanity has accepted its role. Remember, this knowledge is a gift and a responsibility. Use it with courage and wisdom. The chamber settled into a calm glow. The lights dimmed slightly, but the machines remained active, alive with power and readiness. The sphere rested in its cradle, now quiet but filled with potential. Aaron looked at his friends, their faces reflecting awe, excitement, and a quiet understanding. They had made a choice that would change not only their lives but the future of humanity. Outside the chamber, the wind whistled through the monastery above. The mountain remained silent, guarding the entrance, but beneath its stone, a new chapter had begun. The crypt of machines had awakened, and humans had been chosen as its keepers. Aaron turned to Myra, Lien, and Tomasz. We will carry this knowledge carefully, he said. We have to understand it, protect it, and use it to help everyone. Myra nodded, her eyes shining. This is the chance humanity has been waiting for. We cannot waste it. Lien smiled, filled with energy and curiosity. We will explore, learn, and share it when the time is right. Humanity will grow stronger. Tomasz took a deep breath and looked at the chamber around them. It is a heavy responsibility, but I believe we can do it. We have to try. The Guardian's form began to fade, its light softening as it returned to a state of watchfulness. Its presence lingered in the air like a gentle reminder of duty and wisdom. The team knew that their journey had only begun. The choice of humanity had been made, and now it was their turn to prove that humans were worthy of the knowledge and power they had been entrusted with. The chamber was quiet once more, but the energy remained, waiting for the explorers to step forward into the path of discovery. They had accepted the choice, and with it, humanity's future had opened a new door to the stars. The crypt was quiet now, but it hummed with potential energy. Aaron and his friends stood together, the glow of the machines reflecting in their eyes. The Guardian had retreated into the walls, leaving them with the sphere, which now pulsed gently, like a living heart. The chamber felt alive, waiting for humans to guide its power. Aaron took a deep breath and reached out to touch the sphere once more. The moment his fingers brushed its surface, a wave of light spread across the room. Knowledge poured into him in a flood of visions. He saw distant stars, planets with colors humans had never named, and machines designed to create and protect life. Ideas and histories that had been hidden for centuries filled his mind. Myra stepped closer and touched the sphere. She gasped as information streamed through her. She could see the patterns in the walls and pillars, the ways the machines could be activated, and the secrets of energy that could light cities and power spaceships. The visions were overwhelming, but she felt clarity in them, as if the crypt itself was teaching them gently. Lian reached forward next. The moment he touched the sphere, his mind raced with invention and discovery. He saw designs for technology that could explore the stars, cure diseases, and bring humans together in ways never imagined. He could feel the pulse of the universe, the rhythm of life, and the interconnectedness of all things. Tomasz hesitated, but then he placed his hand on the sphere. Knowledge flowed into him too, but it was different. He understood responsibility, balance, and the weight of decisions. He saw the potential dangers of misuse and the care required to guide humanity wisely. Slowly, he nodded, his doubts replaced by resolve. Aaron stepped back and looked at his friends. "This is more than we imagined," he said softly. "We are not just explorers anymore. We are keepers of something greater than ourselves." Myra smiled, her eyes shining with excitement. "It is a gift, but also a duty. We must use this knowledge to help humanity, to guide people toward the stars and new discoveries." The chamber pulsed with a soft light, as if agreeing with them. The machines were no longer silent. Lines of energy moved along their surfaces, and faint vibrations ran through the floor. The sphere in its cradle glowed steadily, a quiet beacon of what humans could achieve. Aaron felt a wave of inspiration. He could see not only the knowledge in the sphere but the path to share it wisely. Humanity would grow, step by step, learning to use this gift carefully. He knew they could not reveal it all at once. The world above was not ready for such power. It needed guidance, patience, and hope. Lian's eyes sparkled. "We have to study everything here. Every pillar, every crystal, every symbol. We have to understand it fully before sharing it with the world." Tomasz nodded. "And we have to protect it? There are always those who would misuse power. We cannot allow that. The crypt chose us, and we have to honor that trust." Myra looked at the ceiling, where the crystals reflected the light like tiny stars. "It feels like the universe itself is teaching us. Everything here is a lesson, not just a tool. We must learn first, then act." Aaron glanced at the glowing sphere. "We have accepted the choice. Humanity's light is in our hands. We will carry it carefully, step by step, until one day, humans can reach the stars with wisdom, not just curiosity." The machines responded to their determination. Lights glowed brighter along the walls, energy flowing through the pillars, connecting everything in the chamber. The sphere rose slightly from its cradle, pulsing in harmony with the machines. It seemed to welcome the decision, acknowledging that humans had accepted responsibility. Outside, sunlight began to reach the monastery. The ruins no longer seemed empty or silent. They were the gateway to a new future. The mountain wind carried no whispers of fear now, only the promise of discovery. The crypt had awakened, and humanity had accepted its destiny. Aaron turned to his friends, a sense of unity passing between them. We are part of something bigger than ourselves. Every step we take from here matters. Every choice we make will shape humanity's path. Myra nodded, determination in her eyes. We will learn. We will protect. We will guide. And one day, we will share what we have discovered when the world is ready. Leanne grinned, feeling energy and possibility in his veins. And we will explore further. Beyond this chamber, beyond this mountain, beyond the stars. Humanity has been chosen for a reason, and we will live up to it. Tomasz, who had worried the most, now stood tall. We are ready. It is a heavy duty, but we will honor it. Humanity will not fail. The crypt pulsed one final time, a soft glow filling the chamber, and then it settled into a steady rhythm. It had awakened fully, alive and patient. Aaron and his friends knew their journey had only begun, but the first step had been taken. As they prepared to leave, the glow of the machines faded to a gentle light, like a reminder that the knowledge was always present, waiting for humans to grow with it. The team climbed the hidden stairway back to the monastery, carrying a secret that would one day illuminate humanity's future. Above them, the mountain stood silent, guarding the crypt below. But beneath its stones, humanity's light had begun to shine, and a new chapter of discovery, wisdom, and courage had begun.